Aloha mai kako, and welcome to Inspired by Aloha, a podcast dedicated to making your day a little brighter by showcasing that inspirational people and acts of aloha surround us every day. My name is Erin.
And I'm Amy.
And I'm Shireen.
And we are so grateful that you've chosen to spend a few minutes with us as we get ready to be Inspired by Aloha.
Well, aloha, everyone, and welcome back to Inspired by Aloha. So happy to be here with my pallies. Hi,
Hello,
Shireen. Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Yay.
Aloha.
It's been a while since we've gotten together. This is our talk story time on some really amazing people that we've met recently. Yeah. We had the privilege of spending an evening with Aunty Kuʻuipo Kumukahi and Jeninne Heleloa of the Hawaiian Music Perpetuation Society. That was so awesome. In this beautiful hale at Maunalua home. That was really nice. And we also had a wonderful morning with John Prime, or we know him as John Hina, or I know him as Tusitala. No, I'm just kidding.
What do you know him as? Audience members? No.
But with John and his amazing stories and journey in his art, and it's just fantastic, just very inspirational people that we've met, and I think, you know, discovering the arts through music and actual artwork, and the intention behind their art with culture and with Hawaiiana, and you know, for all of them being Native Hawaiian and from this place was just truly special. So I was very inspired, and sometimes, you know, artsy stuff, I'm like, what? I don't understand, but it was so much fun. Yeah. So yeah, I was really happy to finally be able to sit with you know, Aunty Kuʻuipo and Jeninne. We've been trying for almost a year, I think, to find a date that would work, and it was just a special time for us to be with them. And so yeah. Anyway, that's my really long-winded, unscripted intro to our talk story time this evening. And yeah, so what did you folks think? I mean, it was just I don't know. I had a really great time with our guests.
I did too. I mean, I would probably say, you said it earlier, Amy, that it was magical. Both of the interviews, the conversations that we had with them, they're just so I would probably say I was probably a little starstruck, to be honest, with both of them and stuff. But then at the same time, the more you get to talk with them, you just realize, man, they're just such cool people, right? And they're like the perfect blend of wisdom and experience with a healthy sprinkling of kolohe. You know what I mean? It's like all of them, right? So I think they're just I appreciated the storytelling and their sharing of their upbringing and how they came to find their crafts and their talents, and that was really inspiring for me. What did you take away from it, Shireen?
For me, it was the realization that look at these Hawaiians, right? And look how much they're doing. And I'm Hawaiian, and I feel like I'm not doing enough. You know, they just brought to mind that, you know, you can do so much with what you have. And little things, right? Little things can make a big difference. And so the aunties with their music and working with the younger generation to raise them up, the younger wahine, right? The girls, the women, to rise them up. And then with John Prime, with working with the keiki to help them express themselves in a safe place, in a safe environment, and then to watch them, you know, grow up as well and be that mentor for them. So, you know, Hawaiians, they do a lot, and a lot of times people don't recognize them for that. You know, there's stereotypes that have been out there about us and our culture, and it's not true, because look at all the great things and amazing things that we've done as a culture, as a people, and that our people continue to do.
Well, that's good. I think John was sharing about how I thought it was cool to hear his tagging story. I think I was just so out of it. I was not a break dancer. Or
Me
what did you
too.
call him? A bebopper? I don't know. But I mean, I knew he did graffiti art. It just didn't. Hearing his whole story was like, connect the dots kind of thing. But he shared how he learned and dove deeper into his culture through his artwork
Mhm.
and through the commissions that he received from people to do different things, to paint different murals or representation of different ali'i, and how he shared, wow, I realize I never know, but now I know.
Right.
So to
Mhm.
the learning journey continues, in whatever stage of life you're in, and that we shouldn't feel bad about learning it later, you know
Yeah.
like sometimes I feel like, oh, I don't, I'm kind of old already. I don't know if, I should spend any more time learning more. But, when you speak with our guests that we've had, it's like, wow, no, you're never too old to learn.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's so interesting how you folks are talking about like connection to culture. Cause like even like John, how he talked about he originally started to tag because of his lack of connection to his Hawaiian culture, right? And so
Mm,
he wanted to feel like a sense of belonging to some kind of culture. So it was the tagging culture, hip hop culture, right? But
right.
then through that, he like throughout the years, then he was even able to get closer and more connected back to his own roots and his culture, and then to perpetuate that, right? And it's so interesting, Shireen, how you're saying like, as a Hawaiian, am I doing enough? And I feel that, and I think many Hawaiians feel that. Are we doing enough with the gifts that we've been given, with the knowledge that we have? How are we uplifting the lāhui? How are we giving back? Is it enough? I think there's a lot of those types of questions that come into play. And what I notice is, so people find their passion, they find their talent, they find their gifts, and that's how they give back, right? So like Aunty
Mm,
Kuʻuipo, right? She found her gift in Mele and perpetuating Olelo Hawaii through Mele. Like, how smart was her mom to put the language? I think she said something like she put the language in my mouth through Mele
mm,
because people weren't speaking it, or and she wanted to continue that because her dad then would go outside the paina, go outside and talk Olelo Hawaii, but they wouldn't
mm,
talk it with the
Yeah.
general public type of
mm,
thing. And so she wanted to put Olelo Hawaii in the forefront, and the mechanism to do that was through Mele. I'm like, how smart is that? Like, she found her way of giving back to the Lahui, and teaching the next generations through the Mele.
mm,
And Prime does the same thing. He teaches about the culture and the language, and through his process, right? Through Maunalima, through that process of putting the mana of your hands on the wall, on the painting. And I think that's why it's so easy to respect and revere them. I mean, they're super funny, right? We're laughing the whole time, but just their depth of wisdom
Mhm.
is pretty amazing. Yeah.
like you, Aaron, I was starstruck when I first met Aunty Kuipo, and that was through my work, and then she's just so real.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, it's Kuipo Kumukahi. Like, we have her album, and she's famous, and then she's like, what, sister, come over here. I'm like, what? And she talks about, and her and Jeninne talk about this a lot, about ano. And I didn't know what ano was when they first told me, oh, the ano that you carry. And I'm like, why? Jeannie, I don't know what ano is. She goes, oh, it's like your presence, your spirit, the goodness that comes from within. I'm like, oh wow, that sounds really deep, and then introduced that concept to me, and now I hear people say that, right? Oh, the ano that
Mhm.
you have, different people, and then they recognize that and they honor that and they appreciate that, and then there's this connection. Like Shireen always talks about connection, and there's connection with these people. right? With Auntie, with Jeninne, with John. There's this connection that comes from somewhere. I don't know how you describe it. Is it like-mindedness? Is it spirit connection? Is it cultural connection? But after spending time with these people, now you're connected,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it's
Mm-hmm.
not like, hey, it was nice meeting you and that's it.
Right.
You know, it's like, hey, nice connecting with you, and now we're connected,
Yeah, you're part of our ohana now.
right? And now to think about what what's next,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when will we see them again?
Yeah.
Like I think about John, I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to connect with him again,
Yep.
you know, in the next year or so, and say, what's going
For
on
the rest of
now?
your life.
Right.
We're gonna be there if you want us to be.
But you know, for me, like with John, we worked together at, you know, in the hotel world, and it was our jobs paying our bills. But he was really, really special. Like there was something about John that was, I'm like, you're not gonna work at the front desk the rest of your life.
Mm.
I get plenty kids, gotta pay my bills. I'm like, no. I mean, he was really good at it, and the guests loved him. But I'm like, no, there's something more
Mm.
about John, you know. And then over the years, I'd see him pop up, you know, in on the news or like on a story feature, and I'm like, oh, that's John, you know. And they're doing these beautiful murals, and then beginning to recognize his work around the island.
Mm-hmm.
And then being in Waikiki and taking a student tour through Sheraton Waikiki, and they're like, "Oh, this was done by Italy." I'm like, "Oh, that's John's group," you know. All the handprints, you know. And after talking with him and understanding the depth of meaning behind the Maunalua, I was like, "Oh, I have a deeper appreciation of those murals, you know, that have the handprints set in them, which is really, really unique and special, you know." But for John and for Auntie, you know, when they talk about their commitment to their art and their culture, it gives you chicken skin,
Mm-hmm.
because their story is genuine and it's heartfelt, and it's not for them.
Right.
It is for them, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not for them. You know, their whole purpose is, you know, how does my art or my gift help the lives of other people,
Yep. And the future
and
generations.
yeah, the future
Yeah.
generation, and the perpetuation of that culture or that art for the
Mm-hmm.
next generation.
Right.
You know, I'm like, wow. You don't hear secular artists talk about that.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Mm.
like Grammy award winning, whatever,
Interesting.
whatever. You know, you don't hear
Right.
that. You don't hear that as much. I'm sure there
Mm-hmm.
are people who have those stories, but you don't hear it, right? It's like about how can I get my number one hit now, or how can I get my next award, or how can I get my next bigger mural, or my artwork on a travel show or whatever, you know. But for them, their the art and the craft that they have is much deeper.
Right.
It's like from your na'au, right? It's in
Mm-hmm.
your gut. And that's how we connect, right? You connect from that gut space, from that heart space too. But it's a kuleana as well as a responsibility. What they do, they feel that kuleana to represent and carry their culture and be respectful and mindful of all that it means as they go through and do it, whatever they do. So it was interesting when he was so in awe of John, right? And his ike, his knowledge about the Hawaiian language and the Hawaiian words. And I'm just like I'm not worthy. And he's, he's
Oh.
he's like, but took a long time. Like I just had to learn. Wasn't like that before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta put in the work, but also
Mm-hmm.
remembering where that the culture is, right? Where the foundation is. What is the purpose of the learning? It's to improve your knowledge so that you can take that knowledge and share it with other people in your craft, in your art, with everything that you do.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel really honored and privileged to have been able to experience, working or being coached by Prime in terms of doing like a mural and just having that experience. And one of the things, like we would work till late at night, like 11, 12 o'clock at night kind of thing. And he would always close with silent reflection and of course with pule, right, with prayer. And I do remember, so it kind of instilled in me the importance of pause. And we've talked about this in other podcasts too, but it really is the importance of quieting down the mind and sitting in silence and just being aware and kind of just almost like melting into the space around you. And I'm not really explaining it really clearly, but I think what was magical was there's a time when we're kind of like, it was late at night. We're finishing up putting like the paint stuff away and everything for that evening. And Prime went to sit down in front of the mural, like the half done mural. And he was just sitting down. But we kept working, putting stuff away. And he was just sitting quietly. And then slowly, one of our coworkers, Kelly, she went to sit down next to him, just in silence. They weren't talking. And then slowly, then another person went, and then I went and stuff. And it was just to sit with each other in this silence, looking at the half-finished creation, like the creation coming to life, feeling the breeze, being in the dark, hearing the crickets or whatever. There's something, man, talk about just someone being such a great guide, right? To afford us this opportunity, to just sit in silence and to be and to feel these things just come alive, to feel the night come alive, and to just rejoice in the creating of something special, right? And it wasn't even done, it wasn't even close to being done, but it was so special because it was the evolution of it being done, and that's what he brings. And don't get me wrong, he's super funny and he's so kolohe, but like he is also like this sage. It's like this total sage-like kind of guy. And that's like Kuʻuipo too, right? Aunty Kuʻuipo, so wise, has so many stories, and so kalohe at the same time. I just love that though. I love that about them,
Oh, look,
And
you
Jeninne
made
too,
me
right?
cry
Jeninne is
again.
so good. And Jeninne is a perfect complement to
Yeah.
the
Yeah, they are.
know.
They're awesome.
Mhm.
John was always when we worked at the hotel together, it it was a busy place, and I would get all stressed out, and he was always so like the calmer. Like he could just make you laugh, and then he could just make you feel peaceful. you know he had one speed, slow. And I used to be kind of like, all over the place, and he would, I can see him like eating a snack and looking at me and going, "Sister, no need stress out." And I'd be like, "Doesn't anything bother you?" John, and so when you share that story about, enjoying the silence and being in that moment, I'm like, yeah. He tried to teach me that a long time ago. So yeah, he's a really special person.
That's a good lesson though, because in our world, right, we're so busy, busy, busy doing everything, everything. And we don't take those moments, those sweet moments to just sit there and be and appreciate the things that we've done instead of trying to look at what we need to do, but look at what we've done, and with gratitude with those things that we've done, and sit there and be. And that always makes me think of Mary and Martha, from the Bible, right? Because Mary
Oh
was
yeah.
And Martha
Okay.
was helping and
You
doing
might have to
everything.
educate me. Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's because Aaron, he was
Yeah,
always
never mind.
going to Chinese food after church.
That's right. You shoot. And I went to Catholic school too.
But right, Martha was busy, 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 cleaning, prepping, feeding, being the
Yeah.
hostess.
And Mary was just sitting.
And Mary just wanted to sit at the feet of Jesus
Yeah.
and
just
learn and
learn.
be.
Yeah. Learn, listen, be.
Yeah, and we can all be Marthas, us three.
Yeah, for sure.
We
We're
can all
Marthas.
be busy busies. But
Yeah.
yeah, to learn
So
to
having
just
that
be.
reminder of just being, Erin.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that because I mean, and to think of that in that setting, like nighttime, it's super quiet because no one else is there, right? And then just hearing the nature sounds around you, and then having just each other in your presence and sharing whatever that energy is between each of you, but knowing what you've accomplished and what you have yet to accomplish, but knowing that together you're going to get it done.
I think what I like about, Auntie and Jeninne and John is just this it's this heartfelt desire um to share, to share culture, to share Hawaii in an authentic space. Like John, he shared a lot of stories and about the different art pieces and the different works that he's done, and how it all comes together, not always totally planned out, but it comes because it's an incorporation of people's spirit and their mana and the story and the history and the culture that all comes and becomes this beautiful art piece, you know. And with Auntie, the intention is always to represent Hawaii and the culture of Hawaii authentically,
Mhm.
even if it's especially in Hawaiian music, right? You're challenged to do a show that goes a certain way, or and
Like
is
expectations
yeah, the
of a certain kind
expectations,
of Hawaiian quote unquote show
right,
kind of thing.
right. And for her intention and the HMPS is about perpetuating Hawaiian music as Hawaiian music, and that's so important today, especially for our young people, right? The up and coming artists, rising artists who would like to perpetuate Hawaiian music, and to be led and mentored by an auntie who is firmly rooted and committed to the authentic perpetuation of Hawaiian music and the Mele of old and the Mele of new, and the stories and the depth of the historical significance of the stories of the songs that she presents is just beautiful.
Amy, I feel like you do that too. Like you are like one of my favorite ukulele players, and
Ugh.
you always do things with integrity and with humility and with historical background. You don't just teach pearly shells or whatever.
I
You
do just teach pretty shells.
no,
No.
you teach
I mean, I teach a
Hukuna
hukilau at the
Oewa.
hotel job, but I do tell the story about the
But you
hukilau
give
and why we
right.
learned that song.
Exactly, and you give like you give that background, and you give the depth to it, so it's not just like a commercial thing. You actually you educate. You're an educator.
Well, I think like in our I teach hospitality and tourism, and I feel like the students come away going, yeah, I'm gonna make a difference in this industry, and I'm gonna perpetuate Hawaii, and ensure that we have a regenerative Hawaii for the future. And I'm so grateful that they all say that. And
Nice.
and I tell them, and please reflect on what you just told me
Right.
10 years from now, because it is the next generation that makes that difference. And I think that's what Auntie's intention is with HMPS, is to encourage the uprising artists to make that difference for the future
And I think
of Hawaii, right?
doing it in an authentic way is really important too. You know, so not just surface level window dressing type of thing. but to really do it in a very authentic, historically based, respectful way.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you think about people that are out there today, on social media or in mainstream media, Kamakapili, I think about him and his Authentic Aloha piece with on the news. And then you've got like the podcaster, Kamaka Diaz and the really outstanding guests that he has. I think about the students today that are graduating from immersion schools and are fluently Olelo Hawaii,
Yeah, that's cool.
and um it's exciting to see the younger people. I mean, I never felt old until like recently. I always
You're
I
not
think in
old.
my mind I'm so young, but I realize, there's a whole generation after me now, that is working and it's encouraging to see to
Yeah.
see to see young people that are committed to Hawaii, to culture, to art, to music, to dance. And so it gives me hope,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah,
Well,
does give me hope.
Amy, part of a large part of it is to you and people like you who are the kumu that are teaching the next generation. So they're being molded and shaped and inspired by the teachers, right? Who are sharing that gift of kuleana, right? That gift of it, the privilege of having that responsibility to perpetuate. And I think that's kind of like the word that has, I mean, I know it's in the Hawaiian Music Perpetuation Society and stuff, but that word perpetuate is something that really seems to resonate when I think about Aunty Kuʻuipo and Jeninne and Prime. They're perpetuating what they feel is so important, what they value, what they hold deep, and what they want that next generation and the generation after that and the 7 generations after that, they want to pass it on.
Yeah.
Not even for them to be there to see it being passed on, but to know that they've done their part in the chain of sharing that ike with those who come after. So I really appreciate that about them too.
And I love the
Wow,
way
that is deep.
they explained it, right? Because preservation, right? The perpetuation is active and it's alive and it's continuation, right? It's a continuation of something. It's a continuation of that culture versus preservation, right? Preservation, what she said was, it's just keeping something as is. So it never changes, it never grows, it just, you preserve it in that state. So I love the perpetuation piece of it because to us, and like you said, Erin, it continues to grow, it continues to become way after our lifetime, it is still there. And that's what they do.
Wow.
What's that quote about like planting seeds for trees whose shade you'll never enjoy, or you'll never, I'm totally butchering the quote, but it's like,
Well, that sounded pretty good.
But we get it.
Yeah.
But that's not how it goes, by the way. But you should strive to plant the seeds for the trees whose shade you'll never enjoy. It's for the next generation. I think that's so important.
I love that.
Yeah. I do too. I think that's why we teach. That's why we help people, in our own way.
I think so. I think in all the roles that we have, whether we're in management or we're teaching or counseling, sometimes we don't know the reward of the people that have worked with us or been our students or been our employees, and we don't know. Sometimes we never know.
Right.
And then sometimes we find out later, much later, that that you made an impact. And then sometimes, like in teaching, right, sometimes you just don't think that you've made an impact on somebody because they don't seem to pay attention the entire 18 weeks of semester. Then at the end of the semester, they tell you, "Wow, that was the best class I ever had." I'm like, "Really? I would never have known that from your expression every day, you know?" So,
That's true. Then you never know, Amy, right?
yeah, yeah. But you know, like for me, every time I see Aunty Kuipo and Jeninne, I mean, sometimes it's just random. Hey, mira piece. Oh, okay. And we, we talk about things, and I'm always so honored to get a
Mhm.
call and show up, and we talk about high dreams and big goals, and it's fun,
Mm.
I love that.
and I just giggle like, "What, you want me to come?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Because I feel like, oh, I'm like nobody, but
Not
okay, if
even,
you
Amy,
let
you
me
are
hang out
somebody.
and
Yes,
throw on ideas, you can throw on ideas,
you are
you know
somebody.
You
and
somebody,
so
yeah?
uh so yeah, but I like what Auntie said, right, about
Mhm.
perpetuating.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, perpetuating.
You know, it's really cool too, like for both of them. I loved how they both talked about their parents or like their moms and stuff. And so
Mhm.
how, with Auntie Kuipo, how her mom would just encourage her to play, like bought her the ukulele,
Yeah.
the four-string kamaka, when she had to give the cousins ukulele back, or like would say, I'll do your homework, I will take care of all the other stuff, you just focus on your music.
Yeah.
Like gave her the space and the encouragement, like you can do this, teach yourself, you can do this, just keep practicing, practice, practice, practice. And then even like John's mom, right? I think if I remember correctly, like his first tagging was in his own bedroom,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And so,
Yep.
right, and he was
Yep.
like, yeah, it was like gas chamber because he's
Yeah.
but how cool is it to have a parent that says, yeah, go paint your room, or
Yeah.
like, or here's some paper, and they notice some talent that he has and they encourage it. So
Right.
like parents are super important in this. Parents are the first loves and the first teachers of the children. And so when they can uplift their kids and really encourage, like radically encourage that gift that the child has, I mean, that just sets them up to be
Right.
the Ku'uipos and the John
Mm.
Primes
Mm.
and the Janines of our
Mhm.
generations,
Yeah.
So props to the parents as well.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
It makes me think about Rachel, Rachel
Mhm.
Ardona,
Or her parents too,
and
Yeah.
right?
her number one fans and
Yep.
Yeah.
supporters, Um, yeah, that's all. Well, I think you guys are great moms, and how you mentor and guide your kids who are now adults and, changing the world themselves. But, you are awesome moms in, and how you've molded your kids and are continuing to mold your kids, because Shireen's son is still in college, but but yeah, I think it's amazing. You guys have been amazing too, and I'm excited, right? Like, what are our kids gonna be doing 10
Mhm.
years from now, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. Oh my
in
goodness, what are we going to be doing 10
like
years from now?
I'm still working, that's
It's,
for
I
sure,
know, we'll
10
be
years from now.
inspired by Aloha, season 10.
Well, I teach this class on sustainability. Well, yeah, I mean, I've been substituting, for a colleague of mine at West Oahu, and I've had a good time teaching the class. It's a theoretical, cultural, tourism, sustainability, and tourism class. And there was a non-traditional student in my class this past semester. She's retired from the Army, Navy, and she was sharing an appreciation of having the space to discover. And I was like, what? I did that. Sometimes I like just bring up the subject, and I'm not the subject expert. And I'm like, let's go dig around and learn from other people, um and then what do you think? Because to me, college gives you a degree, but then what are you going to do with that degree after? And so my encouragement, it's a senior level class, so my encouragement to them was that if this inspires you, then you need to be the change maker that we need in this industry. And so, she wrote back and said, wow, it really made me think about what is my contribution going to be for the future. And I thought, yes, what is it?
Yeah.
What is your contribution going to be? And I think to myself, man, if we had teachers like that when we were at the Tim school that said, how will you make this industry better? I don't know. Maybe I would have done my job a little bit differently, you know? But we learned how to make profit and make
Mhm.
money and make
Yeah.
guests happy. But we're learning. Yeah. It's so much
Yeah.
more than that.
Yeah.
And you
So
know,
even more so, Amy, look, you had come, I mean, from that prophet way of thinking, the way we're trained, but you've evolved to be the kumu that has your students, your hamana thinking in a different way and how to make the industry better. That's a great evolution on your part too.
I think so. I
Yeah.
for me as a teacher, like I still think, well, I'm not an academic, but I just teach what I know. But for me, like the inspiration that I get from people like Kuipo and Jeninne
Mm-hmm.
and John
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, the Rachels, the Dondras, you know, the people that we've met here. It is you know, just equally inspiring. Like I can't walk through trees now and not think about Phyllis with forest
Right.
bathing,
Right.
right?
Right.
You
Right.
know, even if I
Yeah.
get pooped on by a bird, I'm not mad anymore because I feel like, well,
It's
that's a
lucky.
blessing, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
But I just an appreciation. I think every for me, like every person I meet now is an opportunity for inspiration.
Yes.
Mhm. That's so true. Yeah, people are pretty neat.
Mhm.
When you when you take the time. I mean, sometimes I get a little eras, you know, right? As we all do. But for the most part, like when you meet someone, if you take a time, right? Just that whole pausing thing again, right? If you take a time to sit down and really hear their story, man, everyone is pretty incredible.
Mhm.
We're very
Yep.
blessed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now to think
For sure.
about what you just said earlier about Auntie Prime, Jeninne were given the space. Not well, I guess the permission from their parents, but
Mm.
given the space to be
Yeah.
Who they are.
Who they are.
who
Yeah.
they are
Exactly. Yep.
and who they're called to be. I think that is
Mhm.
just amazing. A group of us were just in Kona earlier in the month, and we met this cultural ambassador who is the Hawaiian cultural ambassador for this resort. She's 21 years old, and she was amazing. Like to me, when she was speaking, she was like if you close your eyes, like when I was talking to her on the phone, I thought she was like a kumu. Like I thought she was like, you know, older. And then we have a Zoom call and I'm like, wow, you're like super young. Right? And then we meet in person and she says, oh, I'm 21. You're 21.
Wow.
You know, but she has so much
Amazing.
wisdom, knowledge, historical, lineal descendant kind of
Right.
history behind her. She went to immersion school. Her parents gave her the space to learn hula, culture, oli, everything.
So
And so she's
awesome.
21, a cultural ambassador for this resort. And she says, I'm so excited because I'm just given the space to be. And I'm like, wow. Wow.
Yeah. The age thing doesn't matter. She's like
Yeah.
kai kuleana. She's just like that expert level.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah. So I'm still in awe of our guests, our recent guests. Just
So
can't wait to
thankful.
see them again.
Me
Mhm.
too. So thankful for them. Thank you so much again. If they're listening to, Aunty Kuʻuipo, Jeninne, John, we love you guys.
Yeah.
We really
Thank you
do.
so much.
Part
It
of
was
our
so
kamana for
good.
sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And for our listeners out there, if you're listening to us talk story and you never listen yet to Hawaiian Music Perpetuation Society or with John Prime, you know, check them out
Check them
because
out.
you will be inspired.
Yeah. And if
Totally.
anything, give yourself time and space to find your own gift too, because we all have it.
Aw.
And it doesn't matter, right? How old we are. Because, like, the other day, like, I could get senior discount. And I was like, what? I'm like, I cannot believe it. This is too young. But,
Where
but
where
then you
you
gotta be
was? Where
thankful. Oh my goodness, I forget. I forget which store it was. But I was just like, but then again, hey, how grateful, right? To be able to say, I have lived this amount of time, right? So it is a privilege to grow old, right?
Yes,
It's a
it
privilege to
is.
get older.
Amen.
Right. And so I'm very thankful, after I got over the initial shock, you know, but see, I forget what I was saying.
That's because
about
you
this
don't have
already.
any white hair.
Goodness.
That's when you have white hair, like on Thursdays at Foodland, they're like, "Oh, I added on your discount." I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Hey, I'll take the kupuna discount. I don't mind."
Shoot, I forget why I was even telling us about the whole kupuna thing. But shoot,
Oh,
I
because you were
forget.
gonna say that you were saying that that it's never too late to find.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's never too late. Doesn't matter how old you are. Even if you forget your train of thought, it's never too late for us to take pause and give ourselves that space to find out what is that gift that we can give to the world. We can just find it.
Wow,
Give ourselves the
wow.
space.
Because you have it. You
Yep.
have a gift.
Oh,
So
Everybody
don't hide
has
it.
it.
Share
Yeah.
it with the world.
oh, share it with the
the
world.
world.
Oh
Let's
my
shine the light on that gift.
Ooh, we need to write a song now. Oh, look, I'm teary-eyed.
Share your gift with the world.
Oh,
We love you, listeners. Thank you so much. We love our
Yes,
guests.
thank
Mahalo
you.
Prime again. Mahalo Aunty Kuʻuipo and mahalo Jeninne and mahalo sisters. I love being able to talk stories with you guys.
yeah, so good. Well,
Yeah.
ahui ho, everyone. See you
Ike
next
malama
time.
pono. Ahui ho.